You're such a happy man.
I'm in a good mood, man. I'm gonna go after this. I'm gonna go to the mall, and then I'm gonna probably get drunk. It's gonna
You
be a good
get
time.
more in America?
Not at the mall. No, there's two separate events that are happening. I'm going to the mall, and then afterward there'll be drinks.
Oh, okay.
Chris, you left. I want to see your happy face.
Permission granted.
All right.
Great.
I'm waiting. Okay, we literally okay. We just popped up.
We're
Wow,
live.
that is literally how the hangout started about me getting drunk. Fantastic. Okay, good start. Hi everyone. Hi. We should wait a couple minutes to let everyone funnel in. Um, I will be saying this throughout the hangout because not a lot of people will be here yet. But I want all your questions to go through the link that we posted on the social media. So all of the questions to go through the YouTube comments because so they're all in one place. We can get to them easier. That'd be really helpful. Okay. Get here for a little bit, shall we? Look so happy. Look so happy. All right. We have a couple people on the YouTubes now joining. We're still good.
I wonder how many Warhammer players we have in as a Project Phoenix backer.
I that interests me too because that's the thing Bud and I used to discuss, or like Chris and I. It's like, hey, maybe we can get like a Project Phoenix League of Legends group together. But we
Oh,
just never we never decided on doing it. I remember we talked about it once, but it was pretty good. Okay, we have 37 people watching now. We could officially start.
really?
Yeah, we could officially start.
That's a lot of people.
Officially.
I know, dude. Got more people there than within a mile radius of me. It's great.
You know, there were so many backers.
Yeah, I know. All right, so shall we start off with some questions, if you guys would be so kind as to post them in the
First,
YouTubes.
I thought we were starting with like Series
Yeah, I
A.
know, but I just want to get them rolling a while,
Alright.
so we have something there when we're ready. But yeah, we could start with the preloadeds. You wanna,
Definitely.
Chris?
So yeah, it's been about what 2 months since we had the last Google Hangout.
Yeah.
Yep. So there's been probably a lot of stuff going on. So I guess the first question to Hero is, between the last Hangout and this one, what's new developments in Project Phoenix have excited you the most?
Hey, before we start, maybe we should like do introductions and stuff.
Sure, that
Yeah.
works. Yep.
This is Hero. He's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Am I on camera?
Yeah, you're on camera. Introduce yourself, Hero.
Okay, my name is Hiro, and as you know, or may not know, I'm the producer and director of Project Phoenix. And yeah, hi.
Yeah. All right. Chris, go on.
Sure. My name is Chris. I work mostly on the marketing side, so a lot of digging around the analytics and stuff to figure out what people are looking for and what people want. So,
Yep.
good afternoon to all of you.
And I am Ben, and I do whatever these two tell me to do. I'm just an assistant. I just do PR stuff.
You're just you're just Gretchen.
I'm Gretchen. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
All
All
right.
right.
So the first question was, what have we been doing since the last hangout? And the last hangout, I think we were showing a playthrough of the vertical cut. Is that correct?
Correct.
Cool. So since the last hangout, not a lot of things has been happening. We've been concentrating on programming on the Unreal side of things. Um, so I'm just bringing up a chat record history of between me and my programmer. So we made the decision to go from Unity to Unreal, and that decision was based on how many hours of programming work that we can save by making the switch, and also how good it would look um, from Unity to Unreal. Now, there are some sacrifices that we have to make. We're not ready to announce them yet, but those sacrifices in which we will be making will be compensated in a way that hopefully is satisfactory to everybody else. However, that being said, I think it's technically beneficial to everybody involved with the project. Um, I mean, getting this programming done faster means that we can test it longer. And also another thing is if it looks better, then it's better than looking bad, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. All right.
So, a programmer. He's not the main programmer. He's been assisting because we'll go into detail about what's happening with our programmers. I must tell you now, the delay for this, part of the delay, reason to the delay to this project has been because of our programmer. Our main programmer hasn't, really started working yet because he is the main programmer for Ori and the Blind Forest, which will be out on 11th of March. I suggest you all check it out. It's a very good game. It's beautiful. Stefan's team is also involved, and yeah, it's huge. And because of the delays in which that team experienced, it's very difficult to for him to be on board 100% of the time. So what we've done is we've got a gentleman called Pascal Krab from Germany, and he's doing a lot of the grunt work for us until David Clark can join us. David's a main programmer, and Pascal has been doing a wonderful job of creating most of the vertical cut in Unity, and now reprogramming everything for Unreal. So the short-term goal is by the end of March, we will have basic, sorry, basic combat mechanics and so forth in place. And from April, David will hopefully pick everything up from now. In terms of very detailed report on what's actually happening. At the beginning of the year, I think Pascal was looking into making sure the pathfinding programming is done, the AI. Pathfinding means exactly that, pathfinding, where AI think of how they're going to travel from spot A to spot B without getting stuck or being stupid or not making the right approach to a destination. He's also done stuff with traps, so exploding traps or whatever effect it has when a enemy AI walks over that particular trap. He's also been working on skill system like fireballs, arrows, and whatnot. He's also implemented. I think he's implemented the idea of having elevation in the map. So for example, if you have a character in an elevated position, you see better of the map because you're elevated and you can perhaps shoot longer distances, etc. Stuff like that, basically.
All right.
So, oh yeah, the last video I received from Pascal was, I think, a test on sneaky little ruffles in a town controlled by orcs. So
Oh.
just sneaking about, playing Metal Gear Solid in a unnamed town, and basically stupid orcs won't be able to fight her because she's using the stealth function. Now, the stealth function can only really be in the actual game. Ruffles won't be able to sneak around like Snake because she doesn't really have the stealth ability. That's Rihanna and Kaede, the ninja. Um, so in the actual game, normal characters without the stealth ability can only stealth when they're stationary and in a stealthy place, like behind crates and in cardboard boxes. Not that we have cardboard boxes in Project Phoenix, we probably won't, but places like bushes and whatever. So that's what we've been doing. Everything else is ground to a stop in every other department, including like things like animation, the animators, modelers, and stuff like that. The basic thing that we need for Act 1 is complete. We don't need to push our people to making anything further because it's just going to, you know, there's a lot of testing that we want to do during Act 1, during the alpha stage. So yeah, everything's going to stop. The only thing that I know that's operating besides the programming is the art department. Gontaro is working on several detailed version of the portrait, so that we can have like nice looking portraits when we select our characters, and cool main visuals and hot pictures incoming. So that's my I guess that's my little report about what we have been doing during our last hangout besides being sick and
Yeah.
playing Warhammer during the holidays and painting miniatures and playing board games in general, and also testing out Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah. Beautiful. All
Cool.
right. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, so that
Huh.
sounds like a lot of stuff that's been going on. And I guess you also alluded to other projects that the team, that members of the team were involved. So that kind of gives an interesting question. So, how's the team doing, and what do you guys do during the day when you're not working on Project Phoenix?
So like I don't know what everybody else is doing. Well, actually, Gontaro and Koji, we kind of play Heroes of the Storm when we're off duty. Okay. And Gontaro works at a um, at a different game company during the day, and we'll try to get together at midday and play for an hour during the lunchtime break. Um, Otherwise, I'm a big fan of Warhammer 40,000. As you can see, there's my Grey Knight army, um, and that's what I play because I like Mary Sue characters. I know I don't, but I just like the way they look. I've been playing this game since Rogue Trader. For those people who knows about Warhammer 40k, that's like the first edition back in like 80 something, when I was like 10, and yeah, it's been awesome ever since. I'm hoping to bring Grey Knight into Project Phoenix, but I do think there's some copyright problems, so by legal that I'm not allowed to.
Right. I understand that.
Otherwise, I've been playing a. Am I on camera? Because I don't see myself on camera, but
Yeah, you're on camera right now. You're showing.
so I've been playing this little game called Dora Sure. Let's see this. Uh,
Okay.
Classic Bikini I'm a Gladiator. It's like a co-op. I don't know. It's a co-op board game thing, and it's pretty cool. It's made very well. It's made by people at Giant Hobby, which also run like Warhammer tournaments and stuff like that. And yeah, it's awesome. So yeah, that's what I've been doing besides taking care of the kids, I guess.
Okay.
Uh, Okay, so what are we discussing next?
I mean, what about other projects that people are working on? Because you said David was
Oh,
in the
sorry,
figurine side.
I thought you were talking about
No, it's
stuff
good to learn. It's good to learn about
No, they
everything on
want.
your off
Trust me,
time.
they want to
So.
know that too.
like what I do during the other other projects besides
Other
project.
parts of the day. Yep.
So should I talk about myself or?
Yeah, just I would say you and everybody else is working on the project. You know, I know people have had some times it's like, oh, you know, it's not coming out as fast as I want to, or something like that. You know, they want to know like what the people are doing that are working on Project Phoenix.
Okay, so well, okay. I'll talk about myself first then.
No problem.
So I'm a producer. I try to think of fun stuff to do for everybody to enjoy. So that's my job during the day. Um,
Okay. All right.
it's
That's huge.
also, I do, audio direction. So some video game developers might come to me and say, hey, I want to make this awesome soundtrack or really have some awesome like sounding um, sound effects. What should we do? And I try and help them along and stuff like that. That's my other job. I in that instance, I sometimes record our orchestra called Eminent Symphony Orchestra. I founded that orchestra in Sydney, and we perform. And we're the only orchestra to specialize in performance of video game music and anime music. The orchestra's done stuff like Soul Calibur, Diablo 3, um, uh, bits of anime like this disappearance of Suzumiya Haruhi and stuff like that. Excuse me. And yeah, that's what I do during the day. I did do a project called Under the Dog, which was like a like a day job sort of thing, not a indie kind of thing. But I'm not involved in that anymore. And yeah, that's about what I do as you know, besides Project Phoenix, but besides being a dad for 3 kids, boys.
Yeah, that'll do it.
So uh, some key people. As I said, our main programmer David Clark programs for Moon Studios at the moment until he's finished with Ori and the Blind Forest. And he's one of the few people who's probably going to transfer over to Project Phoenix and will be working full time to finish the project. Um, we don't require a lot of full-time people. We only require some full-time people to deliver the project, and he's going to be one of them. Um, as I mentioned before, Gontaro, the guy that does most of the key visuals for this project, the character design and awesome artwork that you see on the Kickstarter page. He works for another video game company, which I'm not going to mention. Um, and I think he's a art director there, and he directs all the key visuals and whatnot for other games and stuff. Um, Koji Moriga is a freelancer. He manages the art in Project Phoenix, but because he's a freelancer, he works on several other projects as well, part time. He's working on, I guess I can't tell you the number, but he's also working on several other projects with me on different video games and so forth. And he's an avid player of Heroes of the Storm, and he has a little boy, just like I do. Um, who else should we? Well, Yoko Enoki, who's writing the story for Project Phoenix, she's a story writer, so she's writing lots of novels and stuff like that, stories, I guess, all the time. Um, Unfortunately, she recently had some eye problems, and she had to do like eye surgery, like both of them. So that was scary, but she's okay now. Asami is another illustrator. She's like she's the girl who does all the the super deformed sorry triple king characters on our website, but in IRL she does all the 3D representation of the forward, the side, and the back facing of all the characters from Project Phoenix, so that our models can model the things properly. Let's go to outside of Japan. Stefan Unger, he is sorry if I pronounced it wrong. Stefan is a modeler for Project Phoenix. He models all the characters and stuff, and make sure he directs the textures to be nice and makes it look good in general. He works on like AAA games. He has worked on Halo and stuff like that. And his studio does models and concept designs and stuff like that. So he's helping a lot with Project Phoenix, not just in that visual department, but he helped us source programmer Pascal, and he's one of the best, most motivated people on Project Phoenix. Well, there's tons of people that I guess I could talk about, but it's most of us have a day job. We work for video game companies. We are either working specifically for a single video game company, or we are freelancers, just like myself. And these people give up their time to make sure that the game is going to be awesome during their family time or their hobby time. They cut that time out and make sure Phoenix is working properly. We're a bunch of people like that.
All right, sounds good. Is there anything, Chris? Is there any other questions we need to tackle before we get into questions here?
Well, I mean, people did have some questions about the game itself, so I think we can go ahead and start with those.
Yeah, sure. I'm all about it. Okay. I will load up the YouTube comments. Assume we got a couple here. Do you have some already set up?
Well, there's some that I think we've seen people ask before. So, will classes be able to equip more than one weapon type? Example, short bow versus longbow. And if so, will they have different properties other than just stats, like shorter range versus longer range?
Right. Yeah. We are at a crossroad right now. I'm trying to make a general decision to have simplified weapon system, just because we want to make sure the game is fun, and that means it doesn't mean that's less variety, but because the more variety we give to, and the more X factor we give to each character, the harder it's going to be to balance the game. And so I'm leaning towards giving like one specific weapon type to each character. Like for example, short bow, having Suriana being able to equip short bow, long bow, or crossbows is going to make a lot of difference between not just shorter range or longer range. It's also going to affect swing timers, damage properties, and stuff like that. Stuff that's going to basically affect skills. Like you can't have, like let's say you have a aimed shot which does double the amount of weapon damage to someone, right? You can't just have a short bow which have a shorter time swing timer and does 2 damage. So basically, if you have an aimed shot, let's say it doubles the damage, and it becomes 4 damage, right? And the longbow which has a longer cast timer and it does 6 damage, it becomes 12 damage. That's unbalanced, and it's really hard to balance every single aspect of these weapons. So, and we are a very small team with a very small budget, and we do want to make it fun. Therefore, I think we are very much leaning towards having one specific weapon type for each character.
Okay.
Cool.
Sounds good. All right.
And I guess you kind of mentioned a little bit of like the skills and probably the talent tree. So the question that people had was how the talent tree spec will affect the members and within the squads. And what more do you have to say about the unique squad mechanics with regards to those talent trees?
So again, the talent tree is going to be simple for to make sure that we nail it just on the head. The talent tree is designed to make like a decision for all the players. For example, whether to make a character a multi-target attacking berserker or a single target attacking person. Excuse me, I'm still sick. And that those are kind of like the talent trees we are looking at. Very simple. There's only a few talents per, you know, I mean, probably like a single talent or two. Sorry, a single talent per one or two levels or whatever. And it's going to be very simple. And I did hear some complaints on a Kickstarter that it may be too simple and people don't like it. But the idea of all this, you know, talent trees is not to make it very complicated, but having different classes with these different talent tree choices, or albeit being simple. Um, the fact that you combine how you combine the squad is kind of part of the definition of the character of your squad, which is kind of like a character, So I want you guys to see it that way, because if when you look at things like how you're going to combine a tank and a healer and a range combat or a melee in a group, that's going to give a lot of characters. Like for example, you might not even want a tank. You might just have ranged stealth, just a group of pathfinders only, so that they can just get away when things get rough, or maybe just like a couple of tanks, so that they can several healers to take care of really hard hitting groups, and you can have a different squad attacking them from behind or whatever. That's you can characterize your squads in such a way that having a very complicated talent tree would be simply redundant and maybe overwhelming.
Cool.
Okay.
Makes sense. So it sounds like that's basically the way you'd avoid the cookie cutter syndrome. So the way you combine different classes and different talents together is basically what
Yeah.
gives you that sort of customization that
Mm-hmm.
people are looking for.
Well, there won't be like a single cookie cutter talent, because you may sometimes want single target DPS, or you want AOE DPS, but there's pros and cons for both talent trees, and yes, you're right, you won't get cookie cutters, but I'm pretty sure people will find out cookie cutter squads, which we want them to find out. But these cookie cutter squads can only cookie cut certain situations. Can't cookie cut every single thing. If you use it in such a way, you can't use the same squad to take out every single boss, because we're designing it that way. We're making sure that if you try to get the same squad, maybe if you have a very well-rounded squad and you play on easy, you will be able to finish the game. But if once you play on harder difficulty setting, we'll make sure that you can't finish it. You have to make sure that you have to have different leaders of each squad, so that they give better different leader abilities. You will make sure that you have to experiment with squad making, so that you can actually finish the mission. So those are the things that we're thinking to make this game unique. We don't want to make another StarCraft. How much, it doesn't matter how much we love that game, but we don't want to do that.
Okay.
Nice. Okay, so you also mentioned a little bit about the difficulty too. So there's always been questions asking about how difficult this game will be. I guess the question is, what sort of options are we giving in terms of difficulty settings? Just to hear it once more.
Right. In terms of difficulty settings, easy would allow you to just burn through the game without doing anything. Like literally just, as I said before, just using a, if you have a well-balanced squad, you can just burn through it without, changes the squad or even like, leveling up or getting specific items or whatnot. Um, so that's that. But when you get to normal, then that's a difficulty setting when you have to start getting creative about how you're going to approach a mission, how you're going to set up the squad, how you're going to give talents to each character, difficult is when you have to do it in a certain way. There might be several ways to do it, but specific ways to actually solve a problem. And those are the three difficulty settings that we're looking into.
Cool.
Yeah. Also, if you do like the most difficult setting, you do have to like grind.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Alrighty, Ben. So, what kind of questions does the audience have?
Well, I did get a question telling Christopher to speak up, so I just adjusted his volume. So that should be taken care of. Secondly, directed Hero, people want to know about the vertical slice. If they wanted to know what were the rules on if they took their own video of it and they uploaded it to YouTube just to like review it or whatever.
All right. That's a good thing because I did read a lot of complaints on the vertical slice. People saying this is it's crap and this does not look good. The battle systems are not in place and stuff like that. But we all know this. For those people who did listen to our Hangout and did read our updates, the vertical slice is what it is. They're there to test certain aspects of the game to make sure that it's gonna work out when we actually make future builds of the game. So Ben, maybe we could just do an update saying you can do a YouTube video of the vertical slice and put it up. But if you include this text in the about section and at the beginning of the video saying like this is a vertical slice, this is not representative of the final product of the game, blah blah blah, which we'll probably think of proper comments. Either that, I'll be happy for people to put it up, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. I can put that. I'll put that in the next update. Just whatever you need to put in, and you're okay to do slice videos. We have another question here. Will you be releasing the game through Steam upon launch so I can point it out to my friends who didn't get to back the Kickstarter?
Yep. That's the idea. I am planning to have this released on Steam.
All right. Stuff. Yeah, get your questions in, guys. I have a few to pick from here, but I want to see flooding here. I want to be struggling to answer all the questions. What is the current status on the Phoenix Store new merchandise pool? Can we expect the top 3 items in the store by next year or later this year?
Well, I'm the game director, so
Yeah.
I'm not the guy who's looking at exactly how much things cost and if it's viable as a business. Although I do listen to people's reports and give the final decision. Hopefully we will have something up in the next few months because we do, all these merchandise sales does goes to support of the game. So we'll try and get it up as soon as we can, but we need to make sure that we don't step on landmines and find out things cost more or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we saw that I think the top three were figurines, and then plushies, and then the standalone soundtrack. So we all know that you guys love those three things. So those are going to be the main focus if, like, when we do get new things introduced into the store, and then we could all obviously poll again, see how much you guys like that, and then get into specifics, what kind of things you like, stuff like that.
Well, I'm pretty sure that we can get standalone soundtracks for certain. I'm just not sure if I can get Sakaguchi's beard in the mix as well.
Mm. Let's see. Why is Nadia not here? Yeah,
Oh,
that's a good question. Uh, Get your questions in, guys. I will. You can go to our Facebook and Twitter to see the uh, link to where you can post your comments.
hey, if Ben,
Yeah.
if you realigned the questions to newest first,
Yeah, that's what I.
we'll see a lot of questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go back. Okay. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I see what you mean. Okay. Comments waiting for approval. We don't have that. Uh-oh. All right. Let's go to.
Oh, look, my question is from Alex Pola.
Okay.
How many hours it will take to finish the game at 100%? Does that mean finishing the game with, hardcore setting, like the hardest setting, or does that mean like just once through?
I think.
Oh, well, I can answer both anyway.
Yeah.
So once through, it should take 11 hours or less. I don't really know because we still haven't finished. We're still doing early stages of combat. So we'll have a better picture when we finish the first act. But I am guessing around 11 hours. It is a shorter side of the RPG where 60 hours are standard. But when you play like the hard settings, you need to grind, and there's many extra bosses that we're implementing. So I'm guessing maybe, I don't know. It just depends how much we make you grind, but maybe 60 hours.
Alright.
The extra bosses are fun. That's the most funnest part. I want to make lots of Ultima bosses so you guys can, you know, uh, agonize your way to try and find a way to kill these bosses without reading, stuff up online. Um, so yeah, probably 11 hours just straight through, or 60 hours if you finish every single thing.
All right. Okay. We have another question here from Chad saying, what sort of impact will equipment have for characters? Will it be purely stat bonuses? Will they provide a boost to particular abilities, or perhaps even gain access to abilities that the character wouldn't have normally without that equipment?
So that's what I discussed with Pascal last week, and he was very worried that I'm going to be through a special staff or a special sword that Azara may have. He was very worried that I'm going to add an ability to add poison damage to a fireball. I did tell him that that's not going to happen, and so the equipment basically will have stat bonuses and extension of abilities that are already there. For example, we are currently thinking of an ability where Marcus, the Templar class, can charge, and that adds a very short stun to the charge, like a 1 second stun. And perhaps some equipment can extend the stun, or make them disorientated, or have some sort of effects um, additional to the stun, but it's not going to break the target. It's not going to ice block the target, or it's not going to make, you know, Marcus Super Saiyan just because he's got a piece of equipment. I am also thinking of set pieces so that you need to combine particular sets to get this nice, you know, additional bonuses to abilities, and so forth. Maybe I might put several equipment that allows special things that can be done, making ruffles to a special dance or whatever. No guarantees, but stuff like that.
Okay. Oh, and just to answer somebody's question, no, Nadia did not leave. She's just not here. She's not here for this hangout at the moment.
What's this thing about Nadia? We got
Yeah.
Why do we have Nadia fans? I mean,
Yeah, we do have Nadia fans. Yeah.
I bet there's a Facebook fan page for her.
Okay. I got another one from Mice Blue here. It says, how would switching to the Unreal Engine affect delivery time and or progress of Project Phoenix since the vertical slice was made with the Unity engine?
right. Well, the Unreal switching to Unreal would actually save us time. That's why we switched. There's many things that we wanted, like for audio, things like audio, or the actual lightings and stuff like that, which we would have to program ourselves to make it work on Unity, whereas it just comes standard on Unreal, and it just saves so much time on Unreal. So I think it's going to make it faster. The thing is, so the question, to answer the question, Unreal would make development progress faster, but it's just that we've just run into seemingly long delays with David Clark working on Ori and the Blind Forest, that we just can't, we just couldn't foresee that, and just kept on delaying, and to a point where we had to get a different program to help us to not delay the project any further.
Okay. I did see a question about Warhammer here. Like, it said, how are you liking the end times?
Sorry, I don't play Warhammer Fantasy Battle.
Oh, okay.
40K, so the 40K end time is still yet to come. But having a peek on the other side of the fence, it does seem like awesome. Awesome new models coming out, and if I blab on about it, I'll probably need another hangout session.
Yeah, and I also saw about the Warhammer figurines. If we could get any Project Phoenix related sized Warhammer figurines, that would be interesting.
Actually, I did ask Nadia to look into that for me, and we're looking into resin casts, because that's that's a very viable option in terms of financing. If we do plastic, we need to make like 30,000 units, and I don't think there's enough people who's interested. Well, I don't think there's any 30,000 buyers yet on Syriana figurines, but yeah, we are looking into doing some resin casts.
Okay. Do we have any updates on the schedule for alpha testing for early birds?
Right. So alpha, we are thinking of releasing just before TGS, because we do want to have some kind of demo at TGS this year. That's, I don't know, September or October this year. TGS is a short form for Tokyo Game Show, and that's where we are looking at releasing the alpha.
All right.
And speaking of events like TGS, are there going to be any events that you might be attending this year that are game related, perhaps?
I will be attending E3 in LA in June this year, but it actually is unrelated to Project Phoenix, and I will not be doing any kind of presentation for Project Phoenix. But if you can say hi, I'll be I can ask questions and talk to you guys at E3 if you are there.
Okay. Let's see. Guys, we got about 15 minutes left of this hangout. Get some questions in. I see that Hunter's here helping me out on the YouTube side. You wanted to know if there's any updates on any mini games in development.
Oh, okay. So mini games, yes.
You wanted to know if you could tease us with any details of your adapted minigame based off traditional JRPG combat minigame.
Well, that is not a mini game. That is another different spin-off game that I do want to do based on Project Phoenix. So I don't have any updates based on that yet because I don't have the executions, how the plan on how to execute that project. But in terms of mini games, we are working on mini games. We want people to have fun. We want exploding sheeps, and we want dwarves throwing kegels of rums and you having to dodge that just for fun. So yeah, but we're not really ready to announce that yet because we're still working on the core of the game. Mini games will probably the ideas will come during the development of the alpha, but the actual implementation will be probably beta and beyond.
Right. Let's see here. Oh, we got here for gear set bonuses. Do you think you want to mix and match gear sets like in Terraria? I've never played Terraria, unfortunately. But he said for clarification, you have sets that apply to the general archetype, like you have multiple variants of a helmet that determine which kind of bonuses. Like, what can you tell me about gear sets and if you can mix and match?
Okay, as I said, we're not gonna have like gloves, wrists, shoulder pads, breastplates, blah 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 blah. It's probably gonna be much simplified, like top armor or helmets or whatever. But you can mix and match the way you want it, as we promised on the Kickstarter. You can have different weapons that's sets in which not on aren't intended to be together but can be together. You can do that. But however, as I say again, we want to make this simple and fun with the time that we have and the resources that we have. So we can't make like 100 other combination that could be fun. And yes, it is fun to do that, but that's our priority lies in make sure that the balance of the game is correct and it's fun to play through the game. We want you to explore possibilities on how to mix and match your equipments, but we can't give like super secret combinations. We might do one, but we can't give like 100 different combination matches and stuff like that.
Okay. Okay, looking for questions, boys. Let's see.
Did some staff leave the project to other projects?
Oh, you saw.
Not really. The main core staff is there. There's some minor staff who have, worked a little bit on our project and left, but nothing of note. Hey, that being said, not that it's got anything to do with staff leaving. We should talk about Nobuo Uematsu because he made our first, submission of his music. And I did go through it. It was a MIDI file, and he did like the main melody of. He gave us the main melody in which we are to arrange to orchestrate. We're not quite finished with the arrangement yet, and we do need his permission to release any version of the music. So it'll still be a while before we can, release it publicly. But yes, he did start working on it.
Okay. And final question from Hunter here: of uh, any recruitable characters that haven't been revealed yet, are there any non-humans or like non-cats above them?
Well, I mean, there's elves and there's dwarves.
Okay.
For now, I mean, again, we've announced everything that's recruitable for now, besides the vanilla types, which you can, go and recruit yourself. Um, I just want you guys to understand, adding a single class or adding a single different race is huge work. It takes a lot of testing. It needs to be tested visually. It needs to fit in with the story. It's just a lot of work, and then there's balancing. And we do want to make a very highly polished game, and it's not possible if we just keep on adding stuff. So I'm sorry to disappoint, but in terms of the races and the classes we have, we won't be making any additional classes or races for now.
All right, and I see some questions in the Phoenix chat that we can get to. Okay. People are talking about the good old days of Phoenix chat, the early ones.
Right.
Oh, that's good.
Will there be penguins in the game? Something
Oh.
new for founders. Ability for them to have access to vertical slice one day. All right. We do have delays with our rewards, and I am very aware of this because I do want to give access to vertical slice one day, but obviously that it's going to be very far from the what the vertical slice was aimed at doing, in terms of where we're at now. In terms of if there will be penguins in the game, maybe. Penguins did come up, but in a different game that I'm working on. Yeah, maybe. But I'm pretty sure it's not going to be the main part of the game.
Okay. The next question is they just wanted to know about what Project Phoenix will be released on. They heard that it was for PS4 and PS Vita as well, and they just wanted to make sure they knew what all systems is coming out on.
So for now, Mac, PC, Linux, and iOS, Android's what we're looking at. But remember, we are making that switch to Unreal, and we need to test everything out on each system. Unreal does put a lot of strain on lower tier systems like the PSP Vita, and we need to properly test before we can make sure that we can deliver.
Okay. And I see a question about any news for the founders. I can promise you we're trying to get you very specific updates. I know we put out weekly updates for everyone, and we're trying to get specific updates for each tier list for stuff that you would need to know and everything. I'm just getting into that now. Today I sent out for everybody that is a citizen level backer and above. You need to check your emails for the character creation, because we have a whole bunch of questions set in there, and you can tell us all about your characters, and we're finally getting into the nitty bits about like why you backed at this level. You finally get to see everything you backed for.
Yeah, we want to start creating everybody's characters. So if you could please contact us and start creating these characters, because right now the art department's not doing anything, and now's the time. Because later they're going to be very busy again, and if you come back to us later, then it could possibly delay the project just a little bit, and we want to make sure the delays are kept at a minimum.
Mm-hmm. All right, boys, we got 5 questions left, so if we can get the final comments in before we shut it down, that would be optimal. I'll check Phoenix Chat for more. I love Phoenix Chat, I do.
Oh, by the way, we are looking for more community managers who can help with community management. As you guys know, we do have a lot of people who help, but the more we have, the better we will be with communicating with all the backers. We do have like 15,000 odd backers, so it's really hard to talk to every single one of them. But I take communication with backers very seriously, and we want to make sure all communications are open. So anyone who wants to volunteer to help us manage the community, they're very, very welcome. And I'll buy you a beer.
And yeah, you could apply for all that stuff at info@projectphoenix.info. I'll put it in the next update. But that's basically all your inquiries off of social media. That's the email you want to send them to. I have another question here saying they want to know how we plan to use the characters we created. So about all the citizen level backers, like what are they going to do? I know it gives a brief description in Kickstarter, but probably as a final question, just like what they all get.
Right. From the top of my head, I remember that we'll give you like all the design documents on how we created the characters and the background to, what the character is. And we're not making the decision ourselves. We'll be making this with you as a citizen level backer and above. And we want to make sure that it's what you guys want. And it won't be a one-sided thing that we're going to make the decisions ourselves. But there's going to be a lot of NPCs, and it's not like we're going to there's a certain NPCs that we're just going to easily fill out. So that's something that we want to have an open communication about.
Okay, I think we have time for about one more question here before we cut it. Let's see. Okay, is it possible for any of the NPCs to be opponents? I know we're creating a boss, which is technically an opponent.
Right, like a enemy character.
Yeah.
It's possible. We can look into that. But please, if you have any, suggestions like that, you could always ask our people. It's just that you probably won't be bosses because bosses is a different tier. So I don't think that's a citizenship level. It's like the 10K level backer.
Yeah.
Who get to design bosses, because bosses you have to make a new model, a new rig. You need to make animation specific to the boss. It's a lot of work, and it would be unfair if we make a boss for a citizenship backer, and it's really super unique, and it's got all these jazz, whilst other people paid more and get the same thing.
All right. Well, that is about time. Now, I want to stress that if you didn't get your question answered today, just feel free to just send them in. You can send it to our Facebook or Twitter. I'm going to compile all of them, and I'm going to send a big file at Hero. And we're all going to get them all in questions, and I'll probably end up doing an update that has to do with, like, oh, these are commonly asked questions. So we can get all your things answered. You don't have to wait till the next Hangout. So is there any things you guys need to say before we head out? Who's happy? All right.
I'm happy, but if there's, I'm sorry. I just want to apologize that we can't do like we can't show a lot of seeming progress in the past few months because we're changing to Unreal, and we're doing a lot of back end stuff which looks just really boring to on the outside. Because we're just trying to do some codes and making sure basic stuff works, and there's not many new art or models that you guys can draw over. I'm really sorry we can't do this. And we're focusing in the PR department, trying to focus on new products so that we can bring more funding to the game and stuff like that. It's just we're at a stage where it's a boring part of development, and yeah, it's just the way it is. It's not like we're just lazing off, or we're just sipping martini with the money that we got. Um, but we are hard at work, trying to make sure that everything's working. So it's in other words, please ask us questions, come online and be active, but please support us. When we do read a negative feedback from Kickstarter, and a lot of our staff read through all our Kickstarter comments, it really gets to us here, and it just feels some people feel that we aren't getting the moral support to go through all these thousands of pages of codes and stuff like that. So if you guys could cheer us on and say "Ganbare" or work harder, or whatever. To leave us positive comments. That would be very, very positive for the rest of the team. I mean, you can scream at me as much as you want. I'm okay, but everybody else is working very hard. Oh, not that I'm saying that I'm not working hard. I am working hard, and
That's all. Don't worry about it. It's okay. All right. I think we'll call it there. Thank you guys for an awesome hangout. I appreciate all the questions, and we'll keep you in touch. We'll have, if you didn't get to watch the whole hangout, the whole video will be posted on next week's update. You'll see it all there, and I'll try to get all your questions answered in the meantime. All right. Thanks, guys. I'll see you later.
bye.
Bye.
Bye.